Hello and welcome to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It is another episode of the Weeb Weekly, and we got a special one for you this week. We got a very, very special guest. We've been talking about getting him on for a while. We reference all of his TikToks all of the time. We got Straw Hat Goofy on the pod, ladies and gentlemen, aka Juju. How we doing, my guy?
I'm chilling, bro. I'm chilling. Thanks for having me on. I know I've been ducking y'all for a minute. It's just because I secretly hate Jose and Misu. I don't know you, so I was like, you seem like a cool guy. So you're the only reason why I'm here right now, to be honest.
I will take ineffectuality over hate every single day of the week, dude. But yes, really, thank you for coming on. You and Jose were out in the city of angels.
I'm taking down my appreciation post for Straw Hat just for that shit.
Trying to get you out here, bro. We trying to get you out here for sure. Like,
yes, sir.
Y'all all need to live out here.
Boston.
You and Nick are both in LA, so y'all can meet whenever you want. But I'm still in.
Not yet,
bro.
Not yet. Soon to be. Soon to be.
I was about to say, bro, come over right now. We can do this from my house together.
Yeah. We can share one Blue Yeti.
One mic.
Exactly. One less poured in. Yeah, Jose. One day, but this week we got a lot to talk about. I guess we have a lot of things that we would like to talk about. Somebody knows more about a movie we want to talk about than we do because he gets special access to things early, ladies and gentlemen. But we have Suicide Squad on the horizon here, ladies and gentlemen. And Juju has done a very, very good job of not spoiling it, of which I appreciate, good sir.
Hey, no problem. I try. It's so hard, though. It's so hard not to spoil because there's so much that goes into it and that I want to fucking talk about. The only person I've been able to talk about with is Jay Stoobs and my wife Star. So I'm just waiting for people to finally see it so I can just be like, yo, when that person that's all I want to talk. When that person did that thing, it was incredible, right? Yeah.
So when in your mind is the clearance date? You're August 6th. I'm just the second that one screening has gone to the public, I'm blabbing.
I mean, I think I'll say the Saturday, that Saturday is free game.
Okay.
But you have to put heavy spoiler warnings. Cause articles are already going to do it. They're already going to be out. As soon as the movie comes out at midnight or 3 a.m. or wherever you're watching it, news articles are already out the ending explained, what happened to this character explain, and it's just kind of you know what, if they're fucking doing it, I might as well talk about it myself because I want to, but you gotta be responsible and put those warnings on it. But I say when you don't put spoiler warnings on it, I give it at least a month. Give it a month. That should be more than enough time.
A month is way too much.
You have way more respect than I do. For
Godzilla versus Kong, we were talking about that shit 3 days after, bro. It was
the next day.
No spoiler warnings.
But you put the no spoiler warnings? Oh, you guys are awful.
We do timestamps. No, we do timestamps. Okay,
I was about to say, don't just be
our description.
Because I get people coming at me when I spoil a movie that's 8 years old. I was gonna watch that. It's
that's ass.
Y'all, come on, bro.
I talk about Jiraiya's death. I talk about
Jiraiya's
death in Naruto. I'm it happened in 2013. What do you how long am I supposed to wait? I'm still watching it. I was it's not my problem
at
that
this
you haven't
point,
seen it.
At this point, Ace is dead in One Piece. At this point,
yes,
you haven't seen him. You haven't seen him in any of the new shit. That means he's dead. It's don't worry about it. So
where did that happen? Episode 600, right?
Not even 600. I think it was correct me if I'm wrong. It was probably like 400, maybe 300. I want to say it was way back. It was way back. Mm-hmm. So it was when we first got Brooke. It was only maybe a year or so after we got Brooke as a crewmate. So it was a while ago, man. It was a while ago. And nowadays, I was gonna say nowadays you don't even see Ace in his full form anymore. You just see him with the fucking fist through his heart. You don't even see his actual character anymore. So what are you mad about?
He just lives on in eternity as a fiery donut. Unfortunately,
you still get smacked a lot of crap for talking about it and bringing up spoilers. I'm just dude, this anime has been around for 20 years.
20 years, bro.
Yeah, it's still going on.
Yes. At that case, we can't talk about anything. No. You can't talk about shit.
You just got to give it a month. But while we're talking about Suicide Squad, because we're all very excited to see it. I'm the DC guy of the group. These two are the Marvel heads. I defend DC religiously. So I'm what Jose?
time out. It's not that you're just the DC. Like, we appreciate
Honestly, it's not
DC
just that too.
because, for example, we've talked about how DC animation is the bomb. The problem is that
Facts.
unfortunately, when you
This is revisionist history.
when you get certain studios that don't like do the homework, you know, it happens. I'm not gonna say
I
shit.
like how
but-
there's only one studio that has DC.
Hey, no. Brooke, hey. The Michael Schumacher movies were not made by the studio.
They weren't done by
studio
Warner
that shall
Brothers?
not be named.
The studio.
They
Who? What'd you say? Hey, don't
weren't
say
done
their
by.
name.
Oh, you
Were
can't say
they?
their name. I'm
Were they,
pretty
though?
sure it was,
Let me
bro.
see.
I'm pretty sure it was all
No
one.
way.
Yeah.
Jose, this is the movie guy, homie. I don't know if this is. I don't
By
know
the
if this is
dub
the
beat?
battle you need.
They were
By the
actual. It was actually.
Yep.
It was actually
Yep.
made by the studio.
Yep. Same one.
No.
Same
Yup.
one.
Yup.
Oh, no.
Been here for years. Dang.
So why we're
do it
talking
like
about it is because we do a thing every week on this episode on this podcast called Stack 'em Up. Well, not every week. It's actually pretty new. But essentially, we all have a topic and we bring our best answers to that question, the topic, and it's called Stack 'em Up. And the winner gets voted on a week by week basis. And due to a legal loophole,
No.
Jose won last week. Actually, before
It was
before
at
we
a
get too into it,
staggering
would-
win on
would
my
you,
end.
Would you consider Darth Vader a protagonist?
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. I would. Yeah.
Hey,
Absolutely.
look at it right there. Look, hey, you
No,
just
I mean,
mad,
for at least,
bruh.
for at
Like,
least,
You mad, bruh?
for
No,
at
look,
least 4 movies. 4 movies at the very least. 4 movies. He's a protagonist.
So you're saying
Are we distinct? Is there a distinction between Anakin and Darth Vader?
That's
or just
yes.
straight Darth Vader?
Yes,
that's what
there is.
I made that distinction in the show, and they said yes. So I'm like, all right, bet I'm a bounce on you.
Yeah.
So the question was right, and I'll move this forward. Right, the question for last week, which is what we're talking about, is who was the best co-protagonist of all time? And so Mizu chose Obi-Wan, which is a great choice for the prequels. Obviously, he's a big part of the Star Wars series.
Right, I don't agree with this.
Nick chose Killua, which is also a good pick for Hunter x Hunter,
There we
right?
go.
But
Okay.
bro, Darth Vader is Star Wars. When you see the silhouette by itself inspires you to think of Star Wars and the Force and like just everything in general. So I'm like, hey yo, I'm gonna go because the thing is, there was a challenge in this pod. You know, how many weeks would it take me to win? And so hey, it's 1-1-1. We've got 3 weeks of stack 'em up, and each one of us has a win. So let's take that.
call me Sugar Sean because every time you say that you won, I'm holding up a finger. All right, all right. I'm Sugar Sean O'Malley because he may not accept he is gonna loss. I don't accept that I lost last week.
Okay, bet.
I think it's
Okay,
a
bet.
win, man. I think it's a win. I agree. As the movie guy who's like very, very objective about Star Wars, I'm gonna have to give him that one. Like
I'm
Got
I'm
to.
gonna have to probe you on your objectivity towards Star Wars later because
Nah.
it's
Sure.
something that we talk
Sure.
about.
I
Probably gonna
Last
say
Jedi,
probably.
I think is the best Star Wars movie under Empire Strikes Back. So you're gonna have a hard time like challenging that objectivity.
physically hurt to hear. But okay, we'll get into that later. For now, what we have is movies, franchises, TV shows that deserve. You don't have to do all of them. You can just choose from the wide spectrum that deserve a second chance. Because Suicide Squad, for all intents and purposes, the first one was bad. And it essentially got retconned, and now it has been given a second chance, and it is bursting onto the stage. It is at least what initial reviews are saying. What you've said it's fantastic. So what we wanted to talk about this week, and what we wanted to bring up our own personal opinions on, were movies that deserve like a second chance, like Suicide Squad.
I got one thing that comes to my mind like super quick like lightning, man. Like The Last Airbender deserves a fucking second chance.
A live
That's a
action.
good one.
Just a whole fucking franchise, man. The Last Airbender, I've said so many times, should be. My wife's over here cheering. She's looking at me like, yeah, like silently, because she knows.
Fuck M. Night Shyamalan.
I made her watch it for the first time like last year. She like resisted watching it because she's heard about like how fucking shitty it is. But
Wait, the show? Or the
no,
movie?
the movie.
Oh,
She's a huge fan of. She's a huge fan of the show,
Okay.
Legend of
Okay,
Korra
yeah.
included. But I
Korra's
repeatedly
good.
said that. I repeatedly said that The Last Airbender deserves to be on the same level as Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter,
Amen.
Star Wars is like a mega franchise with its own universe, its own characters. Like it's such a vast and like deep and rich and layered world that it doesn't deserve anything less than like the treatment that, you know, the Harry Potters and the Lord of the Rings and all those things get. It's so unique. You know what I'm saying? And like it also would have had the distinction of like taking an anime inspired property or anime inspired property, depending on who you ask, and making it into like a huge kind of like franchise, this great grand sweeping story versus like the poop that we got. So like that's the first thing that kind of comes to my mind is The Last Airbender. Like fuck whatever we got. And then the fact that they were like setting up a sequel like made me even more upset because it's like, oh, you got Azula, like, you know, middle fingers.
They really thought that they were like, M. Night Shyamalan saw it and he was like, I'm going to run away with this. It's like, no way we don't get a sequel out of this.
It's all, bro. Like you could tell they were planning on it too, but you know, that just lets you know like how blind like some studios are when it comes to like creating movies, because they literally like will make a cliffhanger because they think people will actually like the shit that they were putting out. And I get it, like it's always based off of box office. If it would have made like a shit ton of money, then they would have made another one despite like the reviews it would have got or whatever.
Like the Power Rangers where you get just like a really cool but Power Rangers like actually could that's what I'm saying, like live action Power Rangers with a dark twist, Lord Dracon.
That one from like 2015 was actually pretty good too. I think it was like 2015 or 2017. That one was
like
actually
the 4 Hollister models.
Yes, absolutely. And the dude who ended up playing Liu Kang in the new Mortal Kombat as well. He was the Black Ranger. He was the Black Ranger. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that was him.
Oh my god.
Yep. Got Gabby G. Got the
you got Becky G.
Got Becky. I said Gabby G. I don't really care, but this is Becky G. Sorry, Becky. I haven't listened to a lot of you. I heard one song from you, and I can't remember what it was, but I liked your performance in Power Rangers as Trini. You were really good as that. Dacre Montgomery, like a big star who like I'm still waiting on to pop. Like he was a very great central protagonist, and I was really excited to see the introduction of Tommy as well. Because you know they teased him in like in the after credit scene or the mid credit scene or whatever. So I feel like Power Rangers is also like another thing that they could do. Granted, I don't want it to be as serious as they were trying to go for. Like I feel like the strongest parts of that movie where it was very cheesy. They leaned into the weirdness of the Power Rangers thing. Like they even played the fucking original Power Rangers theme song from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, for Christ's sakes. So like. And plus, they were in a pit the whole fucking time. It was fucking awesome. But I would like to see that one get a second chance as well. But not a completely serious route. But I think we just need more franchises that just like, you know, just have fun. Like a Spy Kids. Like we need a Spy Kids type of thing now.
Get George Lopez back too. Get George
Mr. Electricidad.
You get that.
Man.
Sergio
Boy,
Banderas right? was in that movie. Like
Antonio
that
Banderas
was
killing it, man.
Antonio Banderas, yes.
Antonio Banderas, man. He was a fucking monster in that. Carla Gugino as well.
Yep.
She was
the mom.
Salma Hayek also appeared in it. Like there's just so much great. Salma Hayek.
Oh my
God.
God.
Is in it. Yeah, was in love with. She had the pigtails, bro. She was rocking the pigtails. I've never been more attracted to pigtails in my life until Salma Hayek did it.
You're right. She was the mom. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Okay, so Jose, was your answer then?
No.
Was your answer? So it wasn't Power Rangers.
No.
Okay. I feel like you were testing the water.
I have
for being honest.
opinions. I have strong opinions about this one.
Okay.
The answer to me is Percy Jackson.
I hear that deserved it. Yeah,
because the mythology guy chooses mythology.
No. Hey. Let's just say I have very strong opinions, and this is my take. This is just my take.
Okay.
Percy Jackson gets the benefit of the doubt that there is not the benefit of the doubt. Gets the benefit that there's over 10 books, right? To its name. There's over 10 books in the series. The first 10 are banging. Like I see no skips in this series. That series is better than Harry Potter. Like I'm just putting it straight out there.
What? Really?
Millennials are pressed.
And I've discussed that at length. I've discussed that at length in the sense that like I think the core 3 of Harry Potter, that relationship is awesome. Like Harry, Hermione, and Ron is like central to there. But bro, the villains that you see in Percy Jackson, think about this, bro. Voldemort gets everything that he wants, and he still can't beat Harry. Voldemort achieves everything that he wants, and he still can't beat Harry.
It's power of friendship.
It was destiny.
No, bro.
It was destiny.
Dude, Percy Jackson
said
literally fought the embodiment of time. And then he fought other villains that obviously I won't spoil the whole like series. There's like 15 books. But like, yes, the amount of layers that they put to the different characters did not deserve those 2 movies that we got. First of all, Logan Lerman was good, and Alessandra Ambrosio is bae. They're 25-year-olds or 26-year-olds playing 14-year-olds. Like, this is not it's not the vibe, right? And I'm excited. Classic. I'm excited that
sure
Disney is pushing the show.
I'm sure he was younger than that.
Dude.
I don't know. If we're talking early 2000s, there was, I mean, come on. We had 24-year-olds playing 13-year-olds being like, wow, my first year of high school. It's
bro,
like, you've graduated college.
Did y'all not watch the Scooby-Doo movie?
The dude that played Hannah Montana's brother, the dude that played Hannah Montana's brother in the original Hannah Montana show was like 30 years old when he was playing like an 18-year-old.
Hannah Montana had a brother?
In the show, yeah. Michael Jackson.
Oh, the dumb one.
Yeah, he was. The actor was like 30 years old, and he was like playing like.
Really weird.
It's bad.
Really weird, Disney.
But I'm just gonna say that, like, for my pick, it's just because of the fact that those 2 movies that we got were not deserving of like the complexity that you have, like with Percy Jackson, and I just feel like the new Disney series, which, while it's pretty hush-hush right now, but that series, if done well, could span easily 17 seasons if you're going off the books alone. 17. So I'm going to say Percy Jackson's mine.
Percyverse.
That's just my pick.
Hashtag restart the Percyverse.
Yeah. Mizu, what you got?
Question for you, though. Do you think that it will work better as a movie or a TV show?
TV. For sure, TV.
Yeah.
But you have to give it the same care that you give The Mandalorian. That's my take. Because like, think about it. Like, the thing is, okay, the thing is like with movies like that that usually revolve around mythology. We saw what not Clash of the Titans, the one that they did about Egypt, Gods of Egypt. Dear Lord Christ.
Oh my gosh.
That movie was not great. But like, for example,
except for Chadwick, you did
exactly,
fantastic, sir.
exactly. The thing is,
wasn't that the one with Russell Crowe?
With Gerard Butler.
No, Gerard Butler.
I get them mixed up. They're both
and
angry
Jamie
white
Lannister. Gerard Butler and Jamie Lannister.
Because they're Egyptian, right?
And they're playing African gods. Like,
because they look Egyptian.
Brenton Thwaites as well, who plays Nightwing now, which I was just kind of like,
nah, bro.
Okay.
So think about it. Like, people forget that these movies were classics. Like, the topic of mythology in general, or just like deities, was like really big in Hollywood in the 60s and 70s. Like Ben-Hur. Like the 10 Commandments was like the biggest movie in the world for like a couple, maybe you could say a decade. And the original Clash of the Titans was one of the biggest movies of its time in terms of budget, in terms of just scale. So like, those movies deserve the care that they brought, and they were critically acclaimed for years. So like, if you bring that to a modern audience, which you can already do because Percy Jackson is successful, you can make a banger. The thing is, you just have to hire the right people and have the right care.
Another question for you when it comes to this, because like, do you know like the genre that we're referring to when we talk about like Lawrence of Arabia and like the Zeus, the Clash of the Titans, the original one? They're called sword and sandals epics, and it's my favorite. It's my favorite name for like a genre, is sword and sandals, because that could pretty much mean anything, but it's so descriptive. But do you think like Hollywood is still like craving for like an epic sword and sandals? Because I feel like the last truly great sword and sandals was like 300.
Gladiator.
I would say I wouldn't even call Mad Max like a sword and sandals thing. That was more like post-apocalyptic type of thing. Like, nobody's wearing sandals actually in that one, surprisingly.
Yeah. It's like leather boots to their
There's
knees.
no swords, no sandals. But I think like 300 was like, and I'm talking about the original one, and I feel like after 300, like, the love for sword and sandals epics started to go down. Like, you start to see that with like 300. The second one, I don't even know the fucking title is. And then like even 300 is just kind of like, it reminded people of Gladiator, I feel. And Gladiator was like the last true like, holy shit, like
Oscar winning
like sword and sandals thing. It used to be so commonplace, and it used to be like, oh, you do a sword and sandals epic, you're gonna get an Oscar nomination. Now it's like, all right, like not as great. They even tried to make remake Ben-Hur, and it didn't work out.
They did. You're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
With Percy Jackson, like I understand, like it's people are still like obviously like your content like always blows up whenever you talk about like mythology and that type of shit. But do you think like outside of just general interest of the mythos, will people still be into that type of thing?
The answer to that, in my opinion, is yes, because of one. The impact that the MCU has had with Norse mythology, even like with Loki, because they're both like Loki and Thor. And second, and a big one, which some people don't give credit for, is the God of War series. They've been trying to make God of War into a show, and it's just so good and so expansive that like if they get it wrong once, it just won't happen. And God of War is objectively, in my opinion, one of the top 3 best video games ever made. And it's all about mythology, and people ate that up. The critics, the fans, even the haters had to bow to Kratos. And it's like, bro, if a video game, which is usually regarded by the older generation, let's say, as like a waste of time, can have that much impact, and like mythology in general can have so much impact that like it goes to the big screen with Marvel, and you get one of the best TV shows that we've had with Loki. The answer is yes. Mizu, what were you going to say?
I was going to definitely agree with that, because there's a lot of people, especially our generation, are definitely into mythology. I mean, side note, in the, you can say, manga, webtoon, you got Lore Olympus, which is all based off of Greek mythology. Definitely, especially like
Record of Ragnarok.
Or Ragnarok, and then God of High School, all based off of mythology as well. So I feel like our generation is down for mythology. We consume it all the time.
I mean, why not? We all had to do I know I had to do it in like 5th grade. I had to choose a Greek god and pretend to be them for a week for some Greek mythology convention. I got Hephaestus.
That sounds hard as hell.
It was terrible. I got Hephaestus, and I was stoked that I got to be married to Aphrodite, but then I found out she didn't love me, and that was it. that was the end. Is that
Greek
it? Mythology.
Is that it? Like you didn't have to like cut out your fucking thigh and put a baby in there or any shit like that? Like,
yeah,
I think we skipped
there's a
that
lot
part.
of there's a lot of like horrible things in Greek and Norse mythology that could have like happened.
Zeus is fair. Hot boy summer. Zeus is hot boy summer.
Listen, he's just a freak in the sheets is what he is. Okay, I would say
I could tell from the Disney movie. I could tell that.
Yeah. First off, now that's something we need a rerun of, and bring back the original soundtrack. Like bring back people who sang the original soundtrack.
They're remaking it currently, live action. You're doing
kidding.
It. Yep, I'm not kidding.
Not with The Rock.
Not with I don't want to see The Rock in another sword and say I don't like. I love Dwayne Johnson.
You didn't like him in The Mummy?
I love.
You didn't like him in The Mummy?
He's actually my favorite part of The Mummy. Like, let's not get it twisted. I unironically think like The Mummy Returns and Scorpion King are like some of the best sword and sandals / like action flicks. Like, period. They're fucking great. Favorite scene, he fucking gets the fucking giant ass bow and arrow, says catch this, and the fucking guy like doesn't catch it. That's spoiler alert, he doesn't catch it.
He wasn't, I mean, he caught it in a sense, just not with his hands.
In a sense, his body caught it, like
right
his heart caught it.
Would you consider like Edo like Japanese pieces sword and sandals?
No.
Like, because but here's the thing, sword, sandals.
Yeah,
like,
I think we're missing the
different?
sand. I think we're missing the sand element. I think like
True.
it's a silent kind of like partner in the sword and sandals. You just automatically think like, oh, they're doing it in like fucking sand, and there's kind of like a Romanness to it or something like that. Where it's like, if I'm thinking of something like the Seven Samurai, like first off, they're not swords, they're katanas, and you'll probably like offend a lot of people saying that, but yeah, I think there's like a distinction. I'm trying to think of like the apt like metaphor for it, where it's like, oh, when you talk about this, obviously you're not talking about this. And I feel like sword and sandals, and plus like the Edo, what you say called it, Edo Japanese,
Japan.
Edo feudal Japan, yeah.
You know way bigger words than I do. I have no idea. Like
it's only 3 letters.
That shit. I'm gonna start using that shit. Like
do
Edo,
it. Yeah, no, it's like 13th
Japan.
century Japan. Just call it Edo. Just
And
throw that word at it.
I definitely agree with Nick on that. And we're definitely exploring more mythology than just Greek and Norse. We're going out there, and we're going into Japanese, African, South American, Aztec, all that stuff.
Black Sands, bro. They're doing it. Black Sands is fucking doing it right now, bro.
You can read it and watch it. Did you guys know that? Did you know that? Did Aaron convey that to us? All right. Going in the same vein of what you said, Jose, I gotta go with the Hunger Games. Listen, the Hunger Games is where I didn't read Harry Potter. I didn't read Percy Jackson. Hunger Games was where I was at. Dude, I was also, dude, I loved Katniss Everdeen. First, what was it? Like Division 13, Section 13 is supposed to be New England. That's where I was from. And I was like, it is desolate and gross here. I can understand this. I can relate to this.
I'm always hungry.
Yeah, because I don't like being here either. I want to move south. I want to go to Division 1. And so there was like the third book came out on my 13th birthday. And that's all I asked for my birthday was I want that book. My mom got it to me, read it in one day, adored it.
Nice.
Movies came out. And I was young. I was young when the movies came out. So I didn't have like a critical eye for filmmaking or anything like that. But every time I try and go back and watch those movies, it leaves me so longing because those movies, I mean, that material is so dark. Yeah. So dark. It's just like, it's like your favorite characters are getting murked left and right. And you're just forming these connections.
R.I.P.
People
Rue.
with genuine. What?
R.I.P. Rue.
R.I.P.
That shit still sticks with me, man. That shit still sticks with me.
Fingers. Dude, they're killing children. That's the thing. Like, the whole premise of the story is killing children. You give me a horror story twist. Like, get Jordan Peele on it or something. Give me give me horror on that right there, because like this is children murdering each other for nothing other than a chance out of their terrible lives. Like, give me a horror thriller twist on it with like a good lead acting. And here's the thing, we don't know what these people look like. Like, there's nothing that's like, oh, Katniss Everdeen looks like Jennifer Lawrence or anything like that. You can cast it however you want. Build the story however you want. Build that world. What happened before to make all these divisions? There's entire nuclear fallouts with bunkers and things like this. And I think there's such an immersive world we could step into, honestly.
Can we like hold on? Because I feel like I've been waiting my entire life to talk about Hunger Games for a minute, because I feel like Hunger Games is like one of the few movies that like legit had a chance to improve on the books, because like I read all the books as well. I read them all in college. And I didn't really think the books, sorry Suzanne Collins, was like the best written, but I like the mythos. I like the story. I liked all the metaphors to the grit. The grit was incredible. Like, even like some of like the hard hitting scenes, like Katniss wakes up and she fucking finds out literally all of District 12 was just fucking bombed, like just just straight up nuked, and you're just like, holy shit. And they just end the book on that. And so like there's a lot to love about it, but I felt like the movies had a chance to kind of like expand on it, because now you're seeing this for the first time. And obviously like people, make their comparisons of, oh, it's basically like Battle Royale, but it's a more like apocalyptic like type of setting. But it was like, the way I see it is like the first movie was just kind of like, the first movie, the director didn't trust the source material. I can't remember who directed it, but he didn't trust the source material, because we came, and as fucked up as it sounds, we came to see the children get murked. Like, that's what I wanted to see.
That's all of book one.
That's all. It's just kids getting like murked, and then like in the most brutal ways possible. Like, people forget, like, those dogs that came out, they're not just like vaguely CGI like poodle dogs from the first Hulk movie. They're fucking like, they literally took like dead kids and they grafted their face on. It's implied that they took the dead kids' bodies, reworked them into these fucking mutant dogs, and gave them the voices and the faces of these children. So not only are you fighting these ugly ass mutant dogs, you're fighting the people that you either killed or saw get killed in front of you. So there's one of Rue, there's one of fucking not Kato, but like I think whatever the fuck her name, the girl who plays Orphan or whatever. It's just really brutal stuff. But again, like, direction, like, it was all shaky cam, and you're just like, oh shit, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, they're not really like holding it in camera. However, Catching Fire, like the second movie and the second book, I feel like were the best ones. Like,
agreed.
Right there with you.
Lawrence, I think it's Francis Lawrence.
Francis Lawrence was the director. Yeah,
Francis
Gary
Lawrence.
Ross directed the first one.
Yes, Francis Lawrence had such an eye. He made that to have scope. Like, I watched that in like IMAX, and it just felt like an entire experience. Just being in the fucking like the arena.
Yeah.
Everything, that arena looked so beautiful, and the fact like at any moment somebody could come out of the fucking woods and throw a fucking tomahawk at your head and shit. Like I was into that shit. And then like you had like the extra elements of raining blood, and then like you had like the fucking mist,
The
and
monkeys that can like yell like with voices.
Yeah, you know, it was just such a great way to show that this is a fucking oppressive capital that like relishes in the fucking torture of its contestants. And like,
gladiator fighting. It's gladiator fighting.
And one of the best scenes, and this is because I know I'm like going on a tangent, but like one of the best scenes is when when they announced the Quarter Quell for the first time. The reaction of everyone who's been in, because
anniversary.
Because it's already stressful enough, right, to be like randomly picked for the Hunger Games, but getting out and like literally thinking like, okay, like once I do it, like I never have to do it again. Like I'm fine. I won. I'm out. I have PTSD, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Then they tell you, you got to go back. Like the reaction from Katniss to Peeta to even Jenna Malone's character, like the fact that she was just like, I was supposed to win out. That was the deal, right? Fuck these people. It was like one of the best, like it was one of the best directed, best acted scenes in the entire like franchise. I still think about that. It was incredible.
And then it's like Germany at the end of World War II. You have 80-year-old people in there like who are like losing their minds, like teaching people how to make fish hooks, and those people are now fighting 13-year-olds over and talk about like being topical in today, like with the growing animosity between like arguably the ruling class and like the more working class people, and like this is a literal universe built upon the ruling class, the capital, forcing other to fight and compete strictly for a taste of what the ruling class lives like every single day. And then you bring it to the third movie where it is now an uprising amongst those who have been historically disenfranchised for years and years and years against that capitalistic ruling class. And I'm like, you could make it so good. Give Jordan Peele the reins and just say, listen, man,
sure.
Yep,
just
I'm down for that.
Take it where it needs to go. That would be absolutely incredible in my book. And the thing is, like, I'm not even saying that the movies weren't good. They were fantastic. I love them, but like, there's so much lore in there to build on.
Yeah. I feel like they petered off in like the last like two back, and I feel like, you know, once Harry Potter did like the part 2 craze, like no movie's doing a part 1 and part 2 like to conclude that thing just stood a chance. But I really felt like they could have kind of I don't know. When I read the books, like I just felt like the one flaw that it had was like it tried to, thank you, sweetie, that it tried to like really go into like this is the Hunger Games, people are hungry, and Susan Collins did this weird thing where she would describe food like every like 10 pages, just like she would just describe food in depth, and I'm like, hey, I get it, I get it, you're hungry, but even when she would say like, I'm not hungry, but somebody put a plate in front of me, it was mashed potatoes with some gravy on the side, and then there was a thing of juice. I never had juice before, so I tasted it. It was all right. Then I was like,
it's a fever dream. It's literally a fever dream, bro.
It's the whole scene in the Capitol where like they're at the feast and they're eating and they're like drinking the stuff to throw up so they can eat more, and it's like, I mean, I get like it's capitalistic like greed and like overconsumption, but like we are just describing different type, like we're a Bubba Gump here. We're just describing different kinds of shrimp.
Damn, now I want bubblegum. Anyway, but did you ever watch like Battle Royale by chance?
Oh yeah,
Battle Royale is a fucking masterpiece, bro. Like, and
that is also it's Japanese children killing each other, but it's
it's like it's like brutal shit. Like I saw a kid's head get like lopped off, and then a dude puts a grenade in it and then throws the head through like a fucking like window and blows up some more kids. I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. Like that's what I was expecting Hunger Games to be, but I would definitely love to see that get a second chance. That's a good pick.
That would be incredible. Mizu, you got a choice here? Also, you guys can thank the Japanese movie Battle Royale for Fortnite, Minecraft Survival Mode, Apex, Warzone. Without that, the concept was never there. So, give your props.
Can I shout out like another movie that I feel like deserves a second chance?
Yes.
And right now it has a cult following, and people like recognize like how great this movie is, but to this day I still believe this movie never made its money back, which like pains me to see. The Iron Giant. I think the Iron Giant, like, give it a sequel, give it a live action kind of like reboot, something. Like
live action would be wild.
Give us a live action, like, and you know what? Have Finn Wolfhard play Hogarth.
Yeah.
Like have Finn Wolfhard play Hogarth. Like that would be in fucking insane.
And Jeremy Irons plays the Iron Giant.
With how many times I saw the Iron
bro.
Giant in Space Jam 2, you would have thought that was its second chance, honestly.
Yeah, it's same thing with and again, this Space Jam 2 is just basically a glorified Ready Player One, but he was also in Ready Player One as well.
Ready Player One, that moment was just it's so great. See, an Iron Giant reference doing a Terminator 2 reference. Yeah.
Like how
glorious.
much more meta can you get? I love that. But I just really need and honestly, you could get Jeremy Irons. Fuck, you can even bring back Vin Diesel as the Iron Giant as well. Like I think you can make it happen either way. I just want a new generation of kids.
Nick just realized something very big. Yeah,
yes, Vin Diesel voiced Iron Giant.
Yeah,
because you can see his face right now. You didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
He's Groot and he has family.
You didn't know
He's
that?
Groot and he has family too.
Oh, bro.
It makes so much sense.
Bro, the reason why he got the role of Groot is because of his great voice acting as the Iron Giant.
I love that so much.
Superman.
I just want to hear him say family one time as the Iron Giant. I would literally live for that. Okay, Mizu, we gotta know what you got, my guy.
All right, so
that was great. I love.
I have two. One's a real quick one. So the one I want to change or get a second chance will have to be Iron Fist.
Okay.
Iron Fist.
Woo! Yes.
Yes. Here's the thing. Iron Fist is such a fantastic character. He is such a great character that they could have done amazing things with, but the show was absolute trash. And it pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie, I visibly, emotionally, everything was angry when I was watching this show. I'm like, what on earth is this garbage?
It's a hard one. It's a hard one.
And the part that also made me so sad is because he also played one of my favorite, the actor is one of my favorite from Game of Thrones because he's in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he played Loras.
And I was like, oh, I thought this was gonna be a cool concept, but no. And there's so much potential and content for just Iron Fist alone that they could have done a great series with, but they fumbled the bag. So if they redid it, I think it would have been amazing. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, I've never been a big fan of his origin story a little bit. Maybe change his origin story because he just seems like another rich white guy playing superhero. And
rich white guy who gets taught martial arts. Damn, this guy.
Yes,
he lost his parents, but you're like, he's so lucky.
Bruce Wayne.
He's so fucking
yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, his whole being a businessman part is completely unneeded, and it really plays no factor in his character.
Horrible, yeah.
So it's just like, oh, we don't really need that. So you could have just made him just a monk and just a person who's kind of like that fish out of water thing. But he's like a kind of like a monk kind of character.
Yeah.
But besides that, but that's not my main one. The main one that I feel like does need a second chance and could have been a great series is Assassin's Creed.
Oh!
Assassin's Creed.
Yes!
Think about this.
I forgot they made the movie. I forgot they made the movie.
There was an Assassin's Creed movie and it was terrible.
Mizu, yes.
I don't normally throw up on the hearing a movie's name. I'm starting to feel a little something when you said that. The whole experience came rushing back to me, and I'm just ugh.
Is that the worst video game movie ever made? Is it?
No.
I don't think it's the worst.
Kombat?
It's
Super
worst.
Mario Brothers. Super Mario
Brothers is very good. That's a good contender.
Yeah.
But Mortal Kombat, bro. Speaking of Edo, sorry, Mizu, get your point across first because that's a really good pick.
So as a person who's played all the video games for Assassin's Creed, it has the potential to be a great movie or TV show series, especially in a sense of imagine it being an anthropology. You have one movie or one movie or at least maybe one season based off one character, and we see what it's like. You can pick Altair, and the second season could be Ezio. The third season could be
Cassandra from the Odyssey.
You could treat it just like the video games.
Think about it. It could have been for those who don't know, who watch JoJo, JoJo is an anthropology anime. And you could have done something similar like that, but with Assassin's Creed. Mm-hmm. It would have been freaking amazing. All the stuff that's going on
pirates
inside the series. Exactly. Especially Black Flag. Black Flag is one of the best of the Assassin's Creed series, in my opinion. Imagine assassin pirate series, a whole season that you're a swashbuckling pirate who also has to work for this organization because of this grand scheme that's going on with involving the world and the Templars.
And the lore is so confusing, a TV show would iron it out. Like, we can actually understand the lore.
Yeah, the lore is not well put together, but yeah, if with a series that can iron it out, as you said, and fix it, it would have been a great series that overarches with certain elements. And plus, like some of the twists and turns. And one of my best, one of my favorites is what happens in Assassin's Creed 3 when we follow this man, and it turns out that he's not an assassin; he's a Templar this entire time.
That's right.
I think that whole little twist, or there's like a whole video game series based off of you being a Templar and you taking out assassins.
Yeah,
I forgot what the name of that one was.
Rogue.
Was it called Rogue?
Rogue.
Yeah.
Yep, Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Where you play that, and there's one where I think it might be Rogue, where you play a black assassin.
Yes.
On the PS Vita, bro. On the PS Vita.
PS Vita?
It was, or yeah, I think it was the PS Vita or the PSP. I played it. It was baller. Like those games were baller.
Vita, wow.
That was around for what? 3 weeks?
True.
So PSP was like 3 years. That was 3 weeks.
Yeah.
NBA Ballers with Stephon Marbury on the cover.
How did Stephon Marbury, like, he was never the best player in the league.
But his
like,
shoe sales in China are through the roof, bro.
He is a China legend. He's a street ball in China legend. Put some respect on Stephon Marbury, man.
Yep.
Stephon Marbury.
I guess. Good for him. Like, if you want to go ball out elsewhere.
I mean, yeah, you know, hey, any way you can get into the Hall of Fame, bro. Like, if he becomes a China legend, gets into the Hall of Fame, I'm rooting for Stephon Marbury, for real. I'm rooting for him. 2 things. Like, one, I like hearing you guys talk about Assassin's Creed because the only time I played Assassin's Creed was always at a friend's house. And the only thing I would do was jump off of buildings in the haystacks. That's all I would do because it was the funnest shit. Second thing, Misu, you know you're my boy and I love you, and I'm only saying this not to be an asshole, but because I love you. I believe you called it an anthropology series. I believe what you meant was anthology series.
Anthology, there you go. My bad. I felt like I used the wrong word anyway.
Anthropology is a store.
It took me a minute to catch it, so like I wish I could have caught you sooner, but I was like, fuck, now he's gonna like say anthropology a couple times, and you did it. I was like, damn it, no, wait a minute, let's figure this out.
I'm raising my hand in Skype.
It, though.
Hey, no problem, bro. I got you.
I didn't even. Hey, listen, if it means anything to you, music, I didn't catch it.
But it was a great pick, though. It was a great pick. Assassin's like, and again, I say this with a grain of salt. People know that I'm of this camp. It's just like the Anakin complex. Michael Fassbender is not the issue, just as Hayden Christensen was not the issue. It's the script, okay? Assassin's Creed is awesome. You can have an amazing series with that. So
Michael Fassbender did not make the choice to sing a weird song as he was getting pulled back into the Assassin Matrix. I don't even know what the fuck it was called. But he was singing that weird song. And I remember specifically, like I was with my best friend in the theater watching it, and he loves Assassin's Creed. Like that's like his shit. He convinced me to go see it. And like when he was being pulled into the thing, I was like, "Is that song like specific to the game?" He goes like, "Bro, I don't know what the fuck's happening right now. Like, I have no idea what's happening right now."
You probably know better than I do, honestly. I can't believe this didn't get taken. Game of Thrones.
No, no. The finale is the only bad part.
Yeah,
the last 2 seasons.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's still great.
I'm not even gonna hold the second to the last. I'm not even gonna hold the 7th season. I'll put that all on the 8th season because even the 7th season was like enjoyable. It just made you think like, oh wow, they're getting places pretty fucking quick. Like, okay, like, you know, they got to speed it up. I get it. I can roll with a lot that was going on, but I cannot roll with Daenerys Targaryen going from I will not be the Queen of Ashes to literally becoming the Queen of Ashes, like in the very next episode.
Snapping, just literally. So here's the thing. So would you guys have preferred a universe where they Black Clovered it? Where they, instead of filling the time that it was going to take for George R.R. Martin to finish the books, they would have just waited like Black Clover is doing right now, waiting for the manga to catch up?
Here's the thing. I don't even think so because there is so much stuff and lore inside of Game of Thrones that they could have literally stretched it out a whole 10 seasons. Because there's some characters in there that they did not mention. Like, for example, John, it's like Lady Stoneheart, like that whole character was taken out. What's his name?
Cold Hands?
Not Cold Hands, but that one's a good one too. The Greyjoy.
Euron
Greyjoy.
Aaron.
What's his name?
Euron is the one we saw.
Is in there. Euron is the one
we saw.
His whole backstory, his own character arc is huge, and the stuff he's doing is very questionable and mysterious. Like, there's so many things they could have done with that series that could have been stretched out for a whole nother 10 seasons and you wouldn't have noticed.
But they were planning.
That's
They're planning on bringing back, like, doing either an anime series or an actual live action series based on the Age of Heroes, which was one when the houses were not even born yet. Like the only one that was like legit was the Targaryens, because like they had all the dragons running around. So
Yeah.
that'd be lit. But I don't know. R.I.P. the Star Wars series that was gonna be showrun by DB Weiss and David Benioff.
I mean, they lost that one quick. Like after the
it
eighth
just-
season, they said nope. But this is what y'all gonna do.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
I also want to like bring up like I know we talked about Harry Potter a little bit, but I feel like we have to bring this up. Is like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And I'm not saying Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them should get a redo. I feel like that just shouldn't exist, or at the very least should just like exist as its own one standalone movie, like just by itself. Like I call it magical Pokemon hunting, because that's exactly what the fuck it is. It's him, he loses his suitcase of Pokemon, and then the movie is him trying to find him. Great.
Yep.
But you could have went two directions with a Harry Potter prequel, and I've said this before Fantastic Beasts was made, and it pissed me off when they try to incorporate it into Fantastic Beasts. You could have told an entire story about Dumbledore's backstory, like his whole origin, and then in the Deathly Hallows between him and Grindelwald. Out like that could have been like 3 movies. You're good. It ends with Voldemort and Grindelwald having their final confrontation, setting up like what the Voldemort coming at the end. Cool. But then you could have done you could have done the Marauders, where you could have like told the story of Harry's dad, Lupin, Sirius, and the one who will eventually betray them. What the fuck is his name? Wormtail.
Crookshank? Oh no.
Well, Wormtail. Peter Pettigrew.
Yeah.
And I feel like the first Wizarding War, there's so much lore that goes into the first Wizarding War that like it's just ripe for the telling. And you could have set it up with the Grindelwald Dumbledore kind of like fight, and then that sets up like the rise of Voldemort. But it's just so much going on. The Longbottoms, you could have seen like how like fucking badass the Longbottoms were, because people, in case you don't read the books, Neville could have been every bit as the chosen one as Harry could have. You know, like the only reason why he wasn't.
Really?
Bro, okay, you need to listen to this. Okay, so
right, I'm strapped in.
So right in the first Wizarding army, in the first Order of the Phoenix, you had Harry's parents, James and Lily, and then you had Neville's parents, and I can't remember their names right now. Forgive me. But the thing was like there was a prophecy that came out. The prophecy shifted the whole thing. The prophecy said that the one who will destroy Voldemort will be born on the end of July, born to parents who defied Voldemort 3 times. And it was one other, and will be like, and Voldemort will consider him as equal. The only reason why Voldemort did not go for Neville Longbottom, because his parents fit the same exact description. Harry Potter and Neville have the same exact birthday. Both their parents defied Voldemort 3 times because they're both that badass.
What?
And the only reason why Voldemort went for Harry and not Neville was because Voldemort's a half-blood, Harry's a half-blood. So Voldemort interpreted that as, that's my equal, I'm going to go after him. But he could have easily have went for Neville.
So it was literally just interpretation. It was just,
so it's literally just interpretation. It was literally down to Voldemort's choice of who was going to be the chosen one. And Neville,
this is the Pixar theory, literally, for
Neville literally, exactly. So Neville is literally like the other half of like the chosen one, which is why he gets like one of the biggest arcs. And that's why like, because they tortured his parents in order to find like Harry's parents. So that's like that. So Harry and Neville are like super linked, which is why Neville got really good at magic early on, because technically he is also the chosen one, and that's just fact. So
and, I mean, he technically grew up better than anybody else in it. So like he was chosen in that regard.
He
and he was a
absolutely
pure
did.
blood. So
like, he that exactly. He saw Neville say like he's a pure blood, like I'm not gonna go after him because I'm not a pure blood. So like that, and that's just the first Wizarding War. That's just some of the little inner workings. Like you also have like Harry's dad being a fucking like bully to fucking Snape, which is what prompted Snape to join the Death Eaters. You have fucking Sirius Black basically like going against his family, who are all Death Eaters, and then like going to like him, and then it's just so much going on. And so many different characters with so many different relationships, like the portrayal of Peter Pettigrew, like basically like selling out his best friend so that Voldemort wouldn't kill him, becoming a Death Eater, being the one Gryffindor as a Death Eater in the process. It's so insane that they didn't go with this like first Wizarding War kind of story. It's I don't understand why they didn't do that. And then again, the Marauders itself is just a nice intricate story in and of itself, because like it tackles like Lupin being a werewolf, and like the fucking werewolf that you see in Half-Blood Prince. He's the one who turned Lupin into a werewolf, because his whole goal was like basically take children, bite them, make a werewolf army, and Lupin just so happened to be one of those children. And so that's why Harry's dad and Sirius, they can turn into dogs and rats and fucking like deers and shit, because they want to be closer to their best friend. Bro, it's so like
that's half the plot of Twilight.
Bro,
which we were talking about before the
I was
pod.
about to say half the plot of Twilight, Underworld,
but better, but better.
I will say Juju. I know you're not a gamer yet, because we'll get you there. They're actually coming out with an open world Harry Potter game. It's called Wizarding Hogwarts Legacy, and it's covering the 1800s. So it's wizards in the 1800s. But like that's also a thing that I was like always curious. It's like, why don't we cover like wizarding schools in other parts? Because I would fuck with a Japanese wizarding school.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, they have Romania, they already have Ireland, they already have New York. I'm like,
they have
bro,
America, yeah.
If they show like either South America, Africa, or somewhere in Eastern Asia, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
I came up with like a pitch for a Harry Potter story set during like the slave trade era.
Hey,
and like
yo.
like bro, like it would be fucking incredible. So basically I'm trying to remember, because I'm gonna have to find the video to get like the details just down. But what would happen was like, you know, why weren't other wizarding schools like hip to like the slave trade? Like Hogwarts, British, they're the ones who went out and they're the ones who fucking took like slaves and took them to America. Well, Ilvermorny was, right? So like imagine like a whole story, and it gets dark. It gets like really dark. Imagine a whole story where a whole sector of wizards went and conquered like other wizards in Africa. And it was basically the slave trade all over again, but it turns out that there are actually slaves who have like magical powers. So just basically a bunch of like Harry Potters who don't know they're magical. And like literally like during slavery times, like let's say one of them is like picking cotton or some shit like that, and out of nowhere like he transforms the cotton into like wine or like a rose or something like that. And then like all these slaves start to discover like they have like magical abilities. And then the fucking like
full on Spartacus,
bro, and then it becomes like a whole Spartacus thing, and it could be like a great metaphor for like slavery uprisings, like the whole Nat Turner uprisings and things of that sort, but with like magical fucking abilities, bro.
So
it would be incredible.
You want the bacon uprisings with magic.
Exactly.
No, I'll say, because as soon as you said that, I was just like, can you imagine like a magical Nat Turner?
I'm telling you, bro. And then it could just you can have like, it's so topical, and you can like, again, Jordan Peele could probably direct it or some shit like that, and it's just kind of like, oh, discover the power within yourselves, brothers and sisters. Like it's literally like magical powers and shit. I would watch
do an entire play on the Underground Railway, on the Underground Railroad.
Yes, you can.
With it, like with the platforms and all that, you could do an entire play on that.
Yep.
And plus, imagine like from a non-magical perspective, all like the lore and mythology they would make after that. Like, oh, we heard about these slaves who had these magical powers. They did some type of, I don't know, voodoo. Or something.
Yeah, the birth of voodoo, and that could be like the birth of voodoo and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, imagine like, and then you can also like explore the gray areas of Hogwarts who know about slavery, but they didn't do shit about it, and they didn't tell anybody about it, right? And then you can have like the whole like kind of Wakandan angle where like the magical Africans, like Ugandans, take your pick, Nigerians or whatever, Sierra Leoneans, they don't say shit. They know their brothers and sisters have been taken. They know that their powers are literally stripped from them. The knowledge of their powers are stripped from them, but they didn't do anything. So maybe you get like a Killmonger like character who's like, you never told me that I can do these things, and you could have like you could have apparated in and saved us at any time, but you didn't. Why not? You know what I'm saying? So
that would sell so many people,
great.
And it would be so expansive. I would love it.
No, here's the thing. Like, it sounds so great, but if only J.K. Rowling would get her shit together.
I was literally about to say she wrote one Asian character, and her name was Cho Chang. All right, like I'm sorry. Like, if you want a whole Japanese story about Japanese wizards, it's just gonna be a bunch of racist ass names running around.
Look,
she ain't the woman.
I only remember in the original Harry Potter like films. I fuck the books because I don't remember there being like a legit black person in the books because the movies can cast whatever. I only know 4 black characters. That's Angelina Johnson, who's a major side character. She's the girl that Fred acts to the dance in Goblet of Fire. One black girl, right? That's the only black girl. Then you have obviously Kingsley Shacklebolt, who, bald guy, badass. Dumbledore's got style. Like, love that fucking guy. You had Dean Thomas, who, like, I guess he's like Seamus level, like, whatever character. And then you have fucking
Mundungus.
I'm sorry?
Mundungus? Is he one of the names?
Not Mundungus. Mundungus isn't black. Yeah, Mundungus isn't black.
Is that a real person? Mundungus?
Mundungus? Yeah, I don't think he's black.
Might be worse.
Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna Google him right now.
from I think he could have been from the last movie.
Mundungus Fletcher. Hold up.
No, it's very
bro.
much.
Mundungus Fletcher is not black at all, bro.
That is a deeply Serbian man.
That is a super Serbian, like, white weasel dude. I know, Mundungus was, but the other black guy. This is my favorite one. He was in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I don't even know his fucking name, but I classify him as black boy with bad news because everything out of his fucking mouth was fucking bad news. He never said anything good. He only said like he only just brought the fucking doom upon everybody. Like, oh shit, look at this cup. Oh yes, this is an omen of death. It's like, oh, thanks, black kid with the bad news. Oh my God, Sirius Black escaped. Yes, catching Sirius is like trying to catch smoke. Like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. It's like, bro, like, can you like chill? He only hit all his lines were literally just him bringing bad news to the group, and I'm just kind of like, bro, why? Come on, like,
I'm not gonna lie, that's low key hilarious. Like, oh, we beat the deputy. She shows up. Oh yeah, Dumbledore's dead.
Dumbledore's dead. Like, I just wanted him to come through the whole series, just like, hey, Dumbledore died. Like, why are you bringing the fucking bad news? Like, they're on the run in the 7th one, and he's just like, oh yeah, Hogwarts kind of sucks now, and he just disappears, just like
he's about. It's like everyone's around Dumbledore's grave, and he's like, he lived a great life. He was very happy, and he's like, he was actually closeted his whole life. He was never able to express his love, and everyone's like, dude, what are we doing?
After that, he leaves Hogwarts like, well, since Hogwarts is all better now, there's no more bad news. I'm gonna see y'all later.
I was only here to deliver the bad news.
My role's done.
I got no job.
Well, actually, that brings me to an interesting segue because a question I wanted to ask you. You haven't seen Snake Eyes, but we were talking about it recently, and we were thinking that, like, do you think essentially that with the way that Disney is now approaching telling more like minority stories with like all of their season 4 roll or their phase 4 rollouts, do you think we're going to be seeing like downstream, like, I don't want to call them repercussions, but like, repercussions in terms of movie making as a whole, seeing more minority stories told, like now that the biggest platform on the biggest stage is doing it? Do you think that's going to encourage people elsewhere to start telling like historically Chinese, historically Japanese, Southeastern Asian, African, Middle Eastern stories, that kind of thing? Latino stories.
Yeah, I think it's a domino effect, to be honest. Like, I feel like for the longest time, like, stories with people of color specifically, just like of different cultures, it's been kind of like either reserved for like that demographic, and then like the larger like mainstream audience wouldn't see it, or like, it was seen as just kind of like, oh, these things don't make a lot of money. Like, you can make them, but like only if you like make it for a certain audience. Like, I hate to say it, Tyler Perry, he knew his audience. He played to his audience.
He's a billionaire for a reason.
He's a billionaire for a reason. And like, honestly, I can't hate his hustle. I just hate the way of which he does his hustle. Like,
absolutely. I agree
with big old boobs. That's how he does his hustle, right?
Like, and here's the thing. Like, I saw Big Mama's House. Like, I don't mind that he wants to dress up in a dress. Like, I don't mind that. It's just the exploitation of like, the black culture and just kind of like the exploitation of black pain is what it was. Like, every movie,
black women,
black pain, black women. It was always like a bald, dark skinned dude that was beating his wife or some shit like that. And I'm just like, damn, I should never go bald or people will start hating me. But
exactly.
It was just like Tyler. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are, and you know which character I'm talking about. Like, fuck that guy who, like, kicked his wife out, literally drug his wife out the house and shit. And then the other one in Why Did I Get Married, who literally just laid out the fact that there's multiple is crazy. He literally just like laid out all of their like dirty laundry at a dinner table because he got busted for cheating on his wife Jill Scott. Who? Why would you cheat on her? But
Jill Scott, for real.
Jill fucking Scott, and
Was
yet
she not good enough for you?
She's good, way more than good enough for me. She's better than me. You know what I'm saying? And so like, and again, like I don't know why the fuck they were friends with him, but anyway, that's another tangent for another day. But like again, like it was either seen as like not profitable, or you could just kind of like make it towards your audience. But I feel like movies that are, you know, like Black Panther kind of like open the floodgates to like make these big budget like films and like put them in front of a mainstream audience, and it can have like worldwide appeal because people want to know about the other cultures. You know, we're seeing it right now with you know, Jose and I talked about this with In the Heights. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna see it again with Encanto. You know what I'm saying? Like Disney is doing that as well. Mulan is just like a byproduct of the fact that they're doing live action remakes, and it's right time, right place, right time. Still kind of fucked up with that, but it's whatever. But I do feel like the domino effect is like, now that we know that these type of movies can be profitable, Hollywood follows where the money is, and it's a double-edged sword, because one, you can say like it's a fad, that you know, it's like the extra cultural thing and people are doing it because like people are craving it right now, but it should just kind of be like muscle reflex, like second nature, just kind of like, let's make stories. We don't care if the main character is white, black, Asian, like, you know, Latino, like, doesn't matter. Let's just tell the story and let's just make the story good. And I feel like, you know, as long as we have that, then we're going to see more. I feel like Disney right now, and you know, this is just because like they've pretty much bought every studio, so like it's almost like they have no choice but to make them. But Disney now is like doing a really great job of like putting forward their POC characters and like really like making them like the main stars of like this new generation. Like we've seen it with their Marvel division with Captain America and the Winter Soldier, with Sam Wilson being the new Captain America. We're going to see him for multiple years down the line to the point where it's commonplace. Again, I mentioned Encanto, and then you know, we saw Raya and the Last Dragon, and before that we got Soul, and before that, and now we're getting Moana. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to keep coming, it's going to keep going, and we've come a long way from the token character, but we're still very close to it, if you know what I mean. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Princess and the Frog, it's a token character. Like, and I don't want to like get into like here's I love Princess and the Frog. It's one of my favorite. I was
actually gonna ask you to elaborate on that.
Yeah. I love Princess and the Frog. It's one of my favorite Disney movies. However, like everyone in the Black community will tell you that they did not have to make her a frog through the entire film. Like, at all. There was absolutely no reason to just see. You already know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, there was absolutely no reason to, because when you really think about it, the Princess and the Frog is a German tale. You could have chosen any race to do that character, but Disney made sure that the first black princess was guaranteed to not be black the entire time. You see what I'm saying? And they marketed it as the first black Disney princess. It's in New Orleans. It's jazz. It's a creation of black culture. But you gotta hope. I know me and Disney. I love Disney. Work for you. Like, you guys are great. But you gotta hold people accountable and say like, this was not the right thing to do at that time. And I will be super critical of that every single time. But Soul, I give Soul like a little bit of a pass. It still has that little like, oh, black character gets turned into a blob. Like, you know, we've seen it again with like I Spy or whatever the fuck that spy movie was with the pigeon. Characters of Spies in the Sky. Exactly. Yeah, like characters of color have a weird habit of not being a character of color through the whole thing. It's a very startling trend, you know. And now like Pixar is doing it again with Turning Red, which I'm super excited about. But she's still turning into a giant red panda. And this is like one of their first lead Asian characters. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, so again, we're a long way from it because Soul did a great job of portraying black culture. The barbershop scene is probably one of the greatest and most underrated scenes in all of Pixar history. Super accurate. I love, and even though Joe and 22 has switched bodies, the black culture is still present throughout that entire movie. When he goes to his mom, when he goes to the black-owned businesses, when he's playing jazz, it's still all there. It's just everybody switched out. Hey, y'all. So that's just like me getting on my soapbox and saying like, hey, we have a long way to go still, but I'm super optimistic about like the way we are going, because now like I feel like we're closer now more than ever to get like a character who's allowed to be a person of color throughout the entire film versus like a huge piece of them being an animal or a blob or like whatever.
It also happened with Coco. Like I love that
happened
movie.
with Coco.
I love that movie like to a fault. But it's the same thing. Even though not the shtick, but like the center is around Dia de los Muertos, which is huge in the Latin community, especially in Mexico. He is a skeleton. His entire family is a skeleton for almost like 80% of the movie. And I'm like, damn, bro. Like it gave it's a good start. That like Juju
Great
saying,
start.
it's a great start, but we still need to get to the point where it's like there shouldn't be a magical thing that happens. Like you can just celebrate the culture without just like having something happen to the main character that like turns him into a dog or a car or whatever. It's like no.
People are like, that's what the story is, bro. Like that's how the story was written. It's like it was written that way for a reason. Like we need to understand it was written that way for a reason. They're getting better, but you know.
Loki also gave birth to a horse, and people are pressed about him being bi. So it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's gender fluid. It's like, yeah, well, also like men don't usually give birth. Like, what are we talking? Like, he gave birth to a snake and a horse. Like, what are we fighting about here? Like, that's a ridiculous argument. I'm trying to like think, and I'm trying to get my brain going about a situation where like a white princess or even just any white character in Disney gets transformed, and I'm blanking.
Brother Bear, bro, not white, but another character, Brother Bear, another character of color. Kenai turns into.
Oh yes!
Oh my
bear,
god!
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Not even Phil Collins' score could save that one.
Yeah.
Well, there's very few things that Phil Collins' score cannot save. If we're being entirely honest.
Can I say this as well? Like the one white character who was quote unquote an ape, he got to stay white the whole movie while being an ape.
You're right.
Tarzan.
Tarzan motherfucking.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well,
I just thought about that forever. I hope Disney doesn't hate me after this forever. But
hey, y'all good.
I gotta speak my truth. I'm just saying what I like. I'm just saying how I feel, man.
Listen, Disney. It's okay. They're not. Listen, Warner Brothers has cut us off, so who knows? Maybe Disney isn't listening either. Let's fingers crossed.
Y'all gonna ruin my connections, man. Y'all gonna ruin my connections.
You said their name 3
I
times.
did.
Now
I
they're
did.
about to be honest.
Look, man, I worked there.
Like the Candyman?
Like the Candyman. Look, I used to work there, and again, like you gotta, in this line of work, you gotta be honest. And again, I still love the company, both companies, from the bottom of my heart. Like I love film. Like I just want to, as a person of color, like you just gotta speak your truth. And like, you know, at the end of the day, if they say they support like the audience and like their actors and the crews and all the people of color who like work on these films, you know, it shouldn't be an issue. So that's how I feel. I'm not saying they're dog shit, immoral, you know, evil companies. I'm just saying like, hey, good job, but still be accountable. There's a standard.
Since we are talking about speaking your truth, though, is there a movie that's came out this year that you're upset more people aren't talking about?
You know what? 2 movies actually, and they're both animated. I mean, a lot of movies that I watch, you already know which one I'm talking about too. A lot of movies I watch like can be considered like Oscar bait. Like I'm kind of upset that a lot of people weren't talking about The Father with Anthony Hopkins and like how great that performance was.
And he won an Oscar for it.
He won an Oscar for it, but again, a lot of people are upset about it because he beat out Chadwick Boseman. And again, like I always said, like if Chadwick Boseman didn't win, Anthony Hopkins, like I'm happy with that. Like, you know, they both are equally as deserving. But I've talked about 2 movies, one of which was The Mitchells versus the Machines. And I honestly do think it's a heavy contender for Best Animated Feature Oscar. It needs to be. And then Arlo the Alligator Boy. Arlo, I don't know if you guys have heard of Arlo the Alligator Boy, but Arlo the Alligator Boy is probably one of the most underrated animated films out right now. And it's literally about a mutant alligator boy who like was born in New York. He gets swept up into the bayou and he has a talent for singing and he wants to like find his father. And the soundtrack fucking slaps. It slaps. Like I remember showing like
Van Ness is in it.
I remember showing a clip. Somebody did a stitch that was like, "Oh, what song from a kid show or movie did not deserve to be that good?" And I played one of the songs, and everyone in my comments was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like it sounded like The Weeknd. It sounded like The Weeknd. That's how good it sounded, and it was that. Definitely watch that. Like Arlo the Alligator Boy. It's a Netflix original. Animation is fantastic. The music, again, absolutely great. The story is like super charming, super cute, and Arlo himself as a character is just, we need to talk about him more. I feel like that movie is going to be like this generation's like Iron Giant.
And he's voiced by Michael J. Woodward.
Yes, who was on American Idol, I believe.
Yeah.
Literally does him doing runs the whole movie. He's doing runs the whole movie. It's fucking phenomenal.
That's crazy.
I had some of the soundtrack on YouTube.
And it was fire.
It's fucking fire. It's
absolutely
fire.
amazing. I love it.
My
it
daughter
looks like it's animated by the people who do, I don't want to say Adventure, Gumball. I think it's Gumball.
It looks like that, like Gumball, regular show, all that type of stuff. Guys, I'm sorry. I got to go, actually. I got family here for a movie night because what else would I be doing?
It's all good.
But
you gotta stay on brand.
Gotta stay on brand, guys. But I would love to like hop on this again and like just chill and hang out with you guys because this great combos. This is awesome.
Yeah, of course, my guy. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you so much, Juju.
I'm sorry to dip out super soon. It's just
all good.
Pre-engagement.
You are good, my guy, dude. Go ahead, say hi to the family. Thanks for popping in. We appreciate you being here, guys. This has been Straw Hat Goofy. If you want to plug your socials before you go.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on TikTok as Straw Hat Goofy. That's straw_hat_goofy. That is every other social like media channel except for Instagram for some reason. On Instagram, it's Straw Hat Movies, straw_hat_movies, and I make videos about movies. if it wasn't too clear. Also,
and he's entering my side of the world on Twitch.
Hey, yeah, you can look at me on Twitch. I do movie commentary. I talk about my favorite scenes. I rank movies. Anything. Pretty much, we just do a really great movie talk. It's great vibes. It's amazing. And one last thing is we're doing a live watch party of the Suicide Squad August 5th at 11:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's gonna be great. If you're watching it from home, watch it with me. Like, you guys are also invited. It's gonna be on Scener.com. Links are in my bio. I already made my account. I already made the account.
I might have to sign up.
We can co-host it too. It'll be amazing. Like, we can watch it all at the same time. It's gonna be a good watch. I want to see your faces when you actually. We didn't even get to Suicide Squad. Fuck.
We can't spoil it.
That's true. We'll talk about it. But
we can do it next week.
Come back on next week.
Definitely, I will come back next week. We'll definitely talk about it then for sure. All right, but yes, make sure you guys get your virtual tickets for that. It's free, but I just like saying virtual tickets. All right, y'all. You guys take care.
Thanks,
have a great day, man.
All right.
Hey, bro.
All right, that was awesome.
That was really fun. Yeah, I was very nervous.
No, hey.
He's a great guy,
bro. He's awesome.
Very,
he's
very
awesome.
Nice.
We can keep. I mean, we still have a couple questions. We can keep going for 20 minutes, or we can leave it here for the viewers to.
I'd say maybe we do a little bit of catching up with you to rinse everyone's palate out, and then we call her a day. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Straw Hat Goofy. That was we're trying. I mean, we're looking at a couple of things podcast format wise, with a little bit of a content hole. We were really content rich for a couple weeks there, and so we wanted to definitely break down the content that we were really interested in. But recently, we've gotten a lot of like good responses to our more thematic question-based talks, and if you guys liked that a lot, shoot us comments, say, hey, listen, I love that episode, maybe bring more people on to talk about these kinds of things, or broach more thematic things, because we are ever evolving. We're always looking for new ways to keep you guys entertained and blessed, and we know you love us, we know you love our chemistry, so whatever you want to hear come out of our mouth, let us know. Feedback is important. But yes, Jose put on the biggest of big boy pants and caught up and finished season 3 of MHA.
No, season 2.
Season 2. I lied. The pants weren't that big.
Yeah, well, yeah. I will also say that, like, just to bounce off of what you said, feel free to use all of our social media platforms, which are linked in the YouTube video. They're linked everywhere. Just let us know what you think, right? About the pod, about the questions that we pose on a weekly basis. I would also be running polls, like the Stack 'em Up poll will be run through my Instagram stories as well. You can leave comments there. You can leave comments everywhere. We just want to know what you think and how we can make the podcast better, because I personally think we have an amazing thing going here. And it's just a matter of having the right things to talk about and then just letting the rest flow, baby. So speaking about flowing, I love MHA. The way that they flow from the hero arc to the finals. Right now I'm at the point where like we got new people joining the League of Villains. Like it gets to the point that I'm crying every other episode. And it's it sucks because I'm like, dude, I haven't cried this hard since like I first started watching like
Spider-Man.
No, I'm not Spider-Man. I was not gonna say Spider-Man.
Uncle Ben's death?
I haven't mentioned Spider-Man the whole episode, and I won't.
True.
I'm proud. I won't do it.
I did it.
I won't. I won't do it.
I'm the bad guy.
It do be like that. But yes, I will say, so far from what I see, even through adversity, where he manages to work with Deku, Mr. Babyback Bitch Bakugo, still, man, like, can you beat a dead horse more than Bakugo? I'm like, bro, just let it happen, bro. Just let it happen. Enjoy the friendship. Like, you can compete. You can compete because, like, and Asta compete. Vegeta and Goku compete, but they can tolerate each other. You can't. You literally can't formulate two sentences without calling Deku a useless nerd or something like that. I'm like, bro, come on. So I don't like Bakugo. If that wasn't clear enough.
I think the audience has gotten it in general.
Yes, I am, however, super excited about all the villains, bro. Every single villain in this series is just good. Like, Baki is like, gives me like sad boy / very e-boy vibes, which I like. The lady looks like the blonde girl looks exactly like Harley Quinn.
Toga.
Like her dead eyes. Oh my, yes.
Toga.
Dead
I have
eye,
a cosplay of
Central.
her in my closet. I had to cosplay as her for chat like 2 days ago.
Oh, she's awesome.
It's funny that you mentioned that because the creator of My Hero is inspired by both Marvel and DC Comics, and he did base Toga off
Harley Quinn. She got the dead eye syndrome. Like, she literally is just like, there's nothing behind her besides destruction and chaos. So I love that. Shigaraki showed his actual face for the first time.
Crusty.
He do be crusty, but he's also super menacing. He's got those what's it called? The eyes from the dude in Jujutsu Kaisen. The main stitched guy from Jujutsu Kaisen, the one with the blue hair.
Oh,
they look exactly the same.
Yeah.
They look exactly the same. Like, they got the same eyes. I'm like, yo, this is lit. I like this. I love the fact that he just like he's basically doing all this villain stuff for clout. I love the fact that he's trying to do that. Well, at least
he just wants to be loved.
Yeah, at least from what we've seen so far. I have never been so excited to see what a villain looks like since just that last scene where they just show All For One being like, good, he will be my successor. I'm like, oh yes. Oh, if Kurogiri is a standard in terms of like villain style, just like the way that they dress, the way that they look, I'm definitely super hyped for All For One, and I'm hoping that I don't get my soul crushed.
Yeah, you never really get a great look at his face. He's kind of like a
blob.
Well, no, he's kind of like a Master Chief in that way.
Ooh.
You never really get to see his face.
Okay, babe.
Yeah, but he's incredible. He's a really, really good bad guy. So you've already seen the muscular fight then, because you mentioned Baki, right? You mean muscular?
No. So I'm at the point where like Shigaraki confronted Deku in the mall, which is this is the mall,
holding him by like the throat.
Yeah, this is scene. This is the post final exams like little transitional period. So like I'm in these type of episodes. So I basically saw like 7 episodes since like 7 or 8 episodes since the last time we talked. And a lot has happened, but at the same time, like it feels like this is just a transition period between like when shit's supposed to hit the fan with all the villains. So very excited there. A topic that we didn't get to talk about with Goofy. I don't think he's actually seen Bad Batch, but bro, Bad Batch, what an amazing episode. We should talk about that.
Like, okay, here's my thing. We are finally getting to see it's really interesting that we're getting to see the descaling of clone troopers to stormtroopers. Like we're seeing like the actual like transition of power, like the handoff. And my favorite part is that the clone troopers are literally running through them, and they're making jokes about it as they're doing it. It's like, you trained these guys? Like these guys that are missing all of us at point blank range? They were shooting to kill the stormtroopers, the clone troopers shooting tranquilizing, and still just running through them. It wasn't even close, and it was awesome. And then we get that ending scene where now Hunter has been captured by Crosshair, and it's starting to look more and more like you guys were right when you said if anybody's gonna kick it, it's probably gonna be him.
Dude, do you guys remember the villain from the first Daredevil movie? Bullseye.
With the bullseye. Yep.
Did you see that Crosshair has the same thing on his eye?
He's got a
Crosshair has the crosshair on his eye from the scars.
Really?
And I'm like, this gave me massive Bullseye energy from the first Daredevil movie.
Straightening out like paper clips.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, dude, it was legit. Like I saw that and I was like, it's about to go down, because like, and just the way he reacted is like, well, I was expecting the whole squad, but I'll guess you will do. It's like, oh my God. It's like, yo, this insubordinate mastermind against the leader of the pack. Just like, boom. I'm very excited. The other thing that I was like very like impressed by, the actual transition of the suits. They have good armor. Like the stormtrooper, like storm/clone troopers have actual good armor. That's what they said. At least this elite battalion did. I know they had the commandos. Yeah, because they have the commandos, but they also had like 1,000 troopers or whatever they said they was.
TK troopers.
Yeah, TK troopers. And the helmets were baller, and I was like, hey, yo, they're slowly transitioning from like clones to stormtroopers, and I'm like, bro, this I love this spin on like just a gag from the original series that like, oh, they just miss for whatever reason. No, this is literally purely an economic move from the side of the Empire, because they're just saving up to the Death Star. That's all that it is.
When you have to make a moon out of metal, you cannot afford to splurge on clones
and on their training. So that's and just let's just say R.I.P. to the Kaminoan Prime Minister.
I was just about to say that. I was just like, I think one of my low-key favorite scenes was that whole takeover. Just like, oh, well, yeah, we caught the scientist doing all this stuff in the background, and of course the Prime Minister's like, oh yeah, I'll take care of her. I'll give her a punishment. He's like, no, we like that. That shows innovation. We're gonna keep her around. What we don't need is a politician. And I was like, you. on some Game of Thrones shit. I was like, bro, they just
reverse Uno card, bro. The reverse Uno card.
That's the thing. She's been played up as like one of the good, like the genuine good people in the show the entire time. You know, she's the reason Omega got away. All of that. So like, it is good to see that like she's getting, you know, she's not going to die off. But yeah, like seeing the Prime Minister, who is the reason that we have all the clone troopers, like finally getting his comeuppance. Awesome, absolutely awesome. No, it was my favorite episode in weeks, easily.
Yeah. I think it did like small nuances story-wise to warrant that. But at the same time, it kept the action up, and I was like, yo, they even got like full on like galactic level army bases in an outer rim planet. They're like, hey, yo, Shiv is splurging.
Absolutely. And I mean, I guess since we are talking this week's episode, we got also a very, very good episode of MHA this week. I feel like it'd be a shame not to bring it up even briefly, because it was very good and it was poignant and it honestly like kind of made me cry a little bit, if we're being honest. We're continuing the storyline of the Todoroki family, and that definitely seems to be, you know, the centric interest of this season, but it was done in such a good way. And this was a very good cap to it. And almost in a way, it almost makes me want to reverse my opinion on Endeavor. Because while he has had thousands of second chances, it seems as though he's no longer passively searching for forgiveness. He is actively speaking to his family and being like, listen, I was terrible. And I know I was terrible, and I'm trying, and you don't have to forgive me. And Natsu's taking his time, as he should. He has every right to do that. And I think it's being done in such an emotionally intelligent way. And on top of that, the fact that we're also seeing it play in to the to Shoto, Bakugo, and Deku's hero training. Now they've officially caught the dumbest quirk of all time, being able to alter chemically treated paint with if you boost it. Any quirk, it more or less shows that any quirk when boosted can become powerful. But like they now caught someone faster than Endeavor, which is an important plot story point, and Deku used Black Whip.
Yep.
So we got to see an emotionally intelligent approach to an abusive father. We got to see a power up from Deku, Bakugo, and Shoto. Bakugo and Shoto were both able to concentrate and essentially like Shinra, Shinra from Fire Force, they're fired into a concentrated stream in order to fly faster. And we got that, and we got we just got one of those MHA moments when your hair sticks up. Like Endeavor hugging Natsu. I cried. I cried instantly. I was just like, it was just the reality of the embrace. And I was like, that is so well done. And Natsu being like, get off me. Like it was, I mean, am I being over dramatic?
Oh no, it's great to see it in terms of anime, because we see, of course, like from the manga, and I think one of this episode is also, I think for me, or this chapter in the manga really made me turn for Endeavor, like in Endeavor, supporting Endeavor and what he's trying to do, compared to like how everybody's on the fence about it. But I appreciate the fact that he is trying. And at least, actively trying, not just expecting people to just get over it. Like he's actively trying. He's trying to do the right thing and like make up for it, and not try to blow it over. Like, hey, I messed up. And acknowledge. And the thing is, and just in general in life, acknowledgement of doing something wrong is really big. Some people think like it's nonchalant, but a lot of people don't acknowledge when they do wrong things. And the fact that if you can acknowledge that you're doing something wrong and you accept it, that's fantastic. And to me, him doing that is really big.
Mm-hmm. No, it's been I have adored the way they've approached it. And like, I understand that like it's not the crazy like action that like MHA fans sort of come to expect, but like the nuance of the writing has really set this season apart in my personal opinion. It hasn't been the best season of MHA ever, no, but like I think in terms of building a story, it has definitely been probably one of the better ones for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I look at it right now as a slow burn to what is going to come after this. Yeah, because it's just a build up. They're getting the background of what's about to happen, because things do get crazy.
Things lose their mind next season.
Yes, once we get more information on the Villain Liberation Army, things get hectic.
Yeah. No, so I am excited about it. I mean, obviously a lot of action to come, but fantastic episode this week, and that's all I got on it.
I am gonna be ready for that next season so we can all watch it together at the same time.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I'm already at season 3, so I just need 2.
Yeah. Exactly. Cool. Well, that's all I got today, guys.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered. We got some solid questions to cover next week, and hopefully we'll see if Juju joins us next week.
I'm so excited for Suicide Squad,
dude.
I'm so excited.
Not only that,
he's back, baby.
Dude, not only that, a week after that, we get the What If series.
Yes.
True. Wow. We will be back to our regularly scheduled content next week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for clocking into this week's special edition of the Weeb Weekly, featuring the Straw Hat Goofy of Geek of the Week. He's got a podcast. We should have told him to plug that. He totally forgot to tell him to plug that. He also makes a podcast. But yes, guys, thank you for clocking in with us. Thanks for hanging out. I've been Nixie Comedy on TikTok and NCHammer23 on YouTube and Twitch. We're getting terrifyingly close to 15K. I just had my tattoo artist draw a Sasuke tattoo. I'm hoping things slow down a little bit. Jose.
It is your boy Tropical Joe. I'm Tropical Joe most areas, and then the Tropical Joe on, I believe, Twitter and Twitch. I'm very excited to plug my Twitch because we have been having some amazing streams. We had a great Pokemon stream with our boy Nixie Comedy, and this week, oh boy, I got my capture card to work. So we are gonna be playing Pokemon, Spider-Man, and God of War back to back to back. The train. Is not slowing down when it comes to Twitch. We're getting very close to 4K followers. Got a long ways to go to match my man Nick, but we're slowly getting there. So Mizu, let the people know where they can find you.
3 times.
Mizu Shogun on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Look, still doing some more power scaling, power system videos, and ideologies and analyzations of characters. And I also am going to be doing my own like what if series, but for a different anime for Naruto, One Piece, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, if people are interested.
Let's go. All right, guys. Like I said, thank you for checking in with us, and we will see you next week. But in the meanwhile, kick it to the outro.